Welcome back to the Return to Her podcast. I'm Cassie Dalton, an experienced yoga teacher, energy worker, and wellness coach who is passionate about helping women like you reconnect with their true selves and thrive in all areas of life. Even though I'm still doing the work on my own wellness and spiritual path, my mission now is to guide you in reigniting your inner spark and living in alignment with the unique calling of your soul by honoring your whole being. Together, let's create a pathway to empowerment, balance, and authentic living. Your journey starts here, and I am so excited to support you every step of the way. Together, let's return to her. Hey there! Welcome back to Return to Her. If you're new here, I am so glad that you found this space. And if you've been following along for these past few weeks, welcome back. I wanted to lay the groundwork in these first few episodes since a lot of what we'll be doing on this podcast is related to self-care, behaviors, and practices that will help you better take care of body, mind, and soul so that you can align more and more with the divinity within you. I think before we delve into learning about and implementing all of these practices, it's really helpful to have an understanding of what is going on in the mind, the monkey mind, the ego, the unconscious patterns and limiting beliefs, so that we can better step into alignment with the higher self, with that awareness. So today we are tackling a big topic: why willpower alone doesn't work to create lasting behavior change, and why white-knuckling your way through change is exhausting, and what to do instead. Just a reminder, the content in this episode is for informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for medical or mental health advice. Now let's get back into it. We have all been there, right? It's January 1st. We have got the best intentions, the best idea of how we want to spend the next year. Our resolutions are on point. And then February rolls around, and suddenly that whole new year, new me energy is feeling a little stale. Or maybe we'd actually already abandoned all those resolutions a week in. Why? Not because we're bad people, not because we don't know enough, but because most of us are trying to change behaviors without addressing the beliefs that drive those behaviors. So today we're flipping the script. Instead of trying to force ourselves into new habits, we're going to reverse engineer the process. We're going to observe the behaviors that are not serving us anymore, trace them back to the beliefs that created them, and then I'll show you how to rewrite those beliefs so that your new habits feel natural, not forced. All right, so let's bring back the car analogy from last week. And if you guys remember from episode 2, I am a former English teacher and I love a good metaphor. So I left out a really important piece of that analogy last week that today I want to drive home. Ha, that was a pun intended. I was talking about how we can think of ourselves like a car. Our ego and our higher self are along for the ride, and the ego, it acts like a backseat driver. And through its insistence over the years, you've probably learned to give it more and more control of the car. Chances are it's actually been in control of the car for the majority of your life. But your higher self, she's also in the car. She's sitting there, buckled up, patiently waiting for you to return your attention to her because she's the one with the real roadmap. She already knows where you're going. She knows exactly how to get you there, but we're often not able to realize that she's there, let alone hear her quiet whispers. Because basically the ego is not letting you hear her. And to add on to this analogy that I brought in last week, we also have the monkey mind, which I described last week as that chatter, that constant distraction, that little animal that takes a thought and runs with it and amplifies it. The monkey mind in this car analogy is like the radio blasting on full volume. And guess who chooses the station and how loud the volume is? The ego. And it's usually the same old songs on repeat. Maybe occasionally it'll be a remix. And these songs are your deeply ingrained beliefs. Maybe they sound something like, oh, I'm just not a disciplined person. I always fail at diets. I'll never be able to make money doing what I love. And because this playlist is what your mind is used to, your perception of the experiences that you have in your life reflect those beliefs, and your behaviors reinforce them. Now, here is the key. You can't turn the monkey mind radio off completely. Remember, it's part of you. It's not going anywhere. Sometimes if we go into a trance meditation, the mind gets really, really quiet, but it's never really gone. You've just detached from it temporarily. However, you can turn the volume down and you can change the station to songs that serve you better. And the more that you do that, the more you create a new playlist of beliefs that actually serve you, the easier it is to access those songs later. So let's talk about working backwards, reverse engineering. Instead of forcing new habits to happen, I want you to start to observe the behaviors that you would like to shift and get curious. Ask yourself, what belief might be driving this behavior? For example, let's say you find yourself stress eating junk food in the afternoon or late at night. Instead of just saying, okay, that's it. No more junk food ever again. I'm never going to eat sugar again. Let's take a step backwards and think about what is really happening here. Once you have identified the behavior that's not serving you, you've given yourself a moment to think what's going on here. You might start to realize that every time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe just tired, you reach for comfort food or sugar that either makes you feel a little bit safer or gives you a little bit more pep in your step. So then you dig deeper. What belief is actually underneath that? Maybe it's something like food is my only real comfort, or I don't have control over my cravings, or I'm not good enough to really take care of myself, or I'm not worthy. Your belief might be totally different from mine. You've got to do the work for yourself there. But once you see the belief, that's when you can change it. And instead of just forcing yourself to avoid junk food, now you work on shifting the belief to something that feels more authentic to you now, something that is going to serve you better. For example, you might say, I am capable of finding comfort in ways that nourish me, or I listen to my body and give it what it truly needs. I am worthy of self-care. Another example, maybe you want to start a daily meditation practice, but you keep skipping it. Instead of beating yourself up about it, ask, what belief is running the show here? Maybe it's, I'm not disciplined enough to do this every day. You might rewrite that to instead say, I am someone who prioritizes my well-being, and meditation is a gift that I give myself. So now that you've identified the beliefs behind your behaviors, what do you do after that? How do you actually make the new belief stick? Here are a few strategies that you might use. Number 1, affirmations with feeling. You're not just mindlessly repeating positive statements. That really doesn't work. Instead, you're feeling the statement. So write down your new belief and say it as if you already know that it's true. Notice how your body feels in response to this affirmation, or imagine how would your body feel if this statement were true, and let it become real through your feelings. Number 2, micro evidence. So remember how I said last week that whatever the mind wants to find evidence for, it will, but typically it's trained toward the negative. Here, we're focusing on the positive and we're giving our mind proof of the reality that it is that we're wanting to see. So if your belief is, I'm someone who makes healthy choices, every time you choose a glass of water over a soft drink, that is your proof that you make healthy choices. Every time you choose to eat vegetables or fruits instead of prepackaged foods, again, note to yourself that you are someone who makes healthy choices. Every time you move your body, you are someone who makes healthy choices. You don't have to do it perfectly, but doing it consistently will give your brain the proof that it needs to start understanding, yes, you are someone who makes healthy choices. Number 3, visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as the version of you who already believes this new thought. How does she carry herself? How does she make decisions? What is she wearing? What is she eating? Where is she going on her walks or going to exercise? Does she have a yoga mat? What color is it? What color are her yoga pants? Think of any way that you can make the version of you that you are wanting to step into a little bit more real for yourself right now. Number 4, repetition and ritual. The brain loves repetition, so attach your new belief to a habit that you're already doing. For example, if you are already brushing your teeth, you might say to yourself, I am worthy of taking care of myself. So reminding yourself through that action of brushing your teeth, which you're already doing, and reinforcing the idea that you are worthy of taking care of yourself. That can start to translate into new habits that you're not doing yet. For example, going to bed on time or going for a walk in the afternoon. Number 5, compassion and releasing old beliefs. Have so much compassion for yourself. All of those old beliefs that you're tired of, that you can't stand, guess what? They served you at some point. Otherwise, you wouldn't have formed them. Instead of responding with frustration or anger or self-loathing, try gratitude, because that belief got you to where you are right now. And now you're able to choose a new one. With time, these new beliefs will become your default playlist. So thank that belief for its service and let it go. So this week, I want you to try this. Pick one behavior that you think you want to shift. And instead of forcing a new behavior, a new habit, ask yourself, what is the belief that is driving this behavior? And sometimes it might be pretty obvious. Sometimes you might have to go through this process several times because you didn't quite get to the true root belief. Once you have identified it, start to rewrite it for yourself. And then use strategies like what we talked about already to reinforce that new belief. If you want some help with this, I have created, I'm going to call it a worksheet. I'm going to call it right now 10 Beliefs to Reprogram Your Mind. I think the title on it is longer than that. But that worksheet will hopefully help you to walk through this process step by step. And I give you other beliefs that you might start to work into the belief system that you have. The catch is you have to subscribe to my email list to get it because I'm shamelessly building my community. But that's not a bad thing for you because I will send you updates about new podcast episodes when they come out, new blog posts because I've also got a blog running. And you'll be the first to know when exciting things are happening, maybe even getting exclusive discounts on some of my services. So if you want that worksheet, there's going to be a link in the show notes. Grab it. Let's start programming those beliefs to something that serves you a little bit better. As you move through this process, remember, you are already whole. You already have everything you need within you. This is just about peeling back the layers, quieting the noise, and returning to the truth of who you are. Let's keep returning to her again and again. If you know someone in your life who could use this message, please share this episode with them. You never know who might need to hear it. If you're wanting to take this work deeper, I'd love to support you. Coaching can help you uncover the limiting beliefs that have been running the show, shift those subconscious patterns that are keeping you stuck, and step fully into the version of you that feels aligned, empowered, and free. Whether you want to explore a coaching package or start with a single session, I'm here to walk this journey with you. You can learn more and book a session through my website, wholebeingjourney.com, and I'll make sure I put that link in the show notes. All right, everybody, I'll see you again next Sunday as we return to her. Namaste.